This is day 32 of scaling an AI agency from $0 to $100,000. We're currently at $6,000 cash collected. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what I did today that moved the needle forward. And then I have some data sets about AI so you can improve your business as an entrepreneur and start being more effective with AI. Some hot takes coming up here in this one. Let's jump right into it, put it in 2x speed to save some time. So we are currently at 6K cash collected, huge for the agency. We want to be farther along, right? We want to be farther along, especially for being 30 days into the series. Come on, man. So what we did today here is we got into the sales prep side of things. Very big day on the sales side. We have a sales call coming up tomorrow. We finally validated that our funnel is working, that an AV integrator booked in for sales calls. So super huge on that side of the boat. And then we're going to be getting into the fulfillment side of things, or we did get into the fulfillment side of things, kind of working with our client a little bit, getting some of his systems dialed in for the upsell that we pitched him in a couple days ago in a recent video. And then I trained my co-founder a little bit on the back end so he can start being a back end wizard like me. Wanted to get him into how that process works so he can be more lethal on the back end and start dialing in fulfillment more on the go high level side of things. And we got into the middle of funnel operations side of things. So we got some pre-call booked videos on there. And then we also got some middle funnel, like educational videos that they can watch to educate themselves a little bit more about who we are as a company, what it's like working with us, and that entire process from a high level. So that's what we did today that moved the needle. Very productive day, all in all. Feeling really dialed on the sales side of things. Went crazy deep into my previous calls, how I can get better. Started to look at some Andy Elliott shit. That guy's controversial as heck, but man, I mean, he's got some good stuff out there. He's spitting some games. So moving in with motion here today, let's get into some data sets. So some data sets from today. The first one is segment your roles properly. So if you have a co-founder, you need to segment the roles properly, right? And the best split is typically front end and back end. If you don't have something that really fits into that, you got to either look for a different partner or you got to figure out how you can really just utilize that other partner's skill set to be able to provide value to the business. If you're solo, it's going to be a lot harder for you because you have to manage a lot of different things. You're going to have to get somebody into your operation to at least help you fulfill, or look towards using AI to help with like 80% of the heavy lifting, more so on the back end than the front end. But you can also use it for the front end and the back end to make your life a whole lot easier. So make sure you're segmenting your roles properly. It can be a very difficult topic. And the thing that we kind of made the mistake with is like, okay, these are your tasks, these are my tasks, which I think is a terrible way to look at it. It's like, this is your role, this is your department, this is what falls underneath that, and then vice versa, right? To make it a lot easier. That way it's not segmented on a task level. It's more segmented on like an operational level, right? And kind of like different buckets where different things can fall into and what that looks like on a daily basis. So just understanding the partnership dynamic and making sure that the roles are segmented properly. So that way you can both be as efficient as possible when it comes to scaling the agency. Super huge takeaway from today. Just like really trying to work through that partnership dynamic and that business dynamic to make the needle move forward. So that's a big takeaway and a big data set to look into. Like I said, if you're solo, look towards having AI delegate a lot of these things for you. Start with the front end because the front end's a lot easier to kind of build up. And then once you get some results and actually be able to deliver with clients, then start getting into the back end and how AI can make things more efficient for you. And then worst case scenario, you just look for another partner that's more technical or has a stronger suit that you don't have via school groups, DMs, networking, whatever you can do to find somebody like that. And then feed AI everything. I cannot stress this enough. If you feed AI everything about your business and what you're doing on a consistent basis, you're going to be that much more productive. Okay. And I'm not saying just feed it a bunch of rubbish. I'm saying feed it context so it knows how to communicate with you, it knows how to execute for you, and it knows how to be consistent on a daily basis. So that way you're not having to repeat yourself. Because I've had it sometimes. I recently switched from the Claude Code interface to just communicating with Claude as an LLM. And I had a lot of issues when I was communicating with it. It didn't have the context. It thought I was running something that I was running months ago. Right. And it was just very confusing. And I had to always repeat myself. And it really pissed me off. So then I just recently went back into my Claude Code environment and I was like, why the fuck did I even leave? Right. Claude Code is just so much more efficient. Cleaned up my GitHub repo structure and made everything super efficient, gave it more context on a consistent basis, kind of treating it as like my business partner, my ecosystem for running the business and running my life. Right. If you can implement that, I have videos on this channel. Use GitHub as your data center, right? That stores your context, that stores your frameworks and all of the execution tasks that the AI can perform on a daily basis. And then use Claude or even a different LLM. I find Claude to be the best one for this specific use case. Everyone's buzzing around Claude nowadays, but use Claude as the container, right? It's the LLM that interacts with that code base, that remembers things, helps you update it, etc. It's a great CLI to use for this specific process. You could probably use Codex. I feel like it would be kind of the same process. ChatGPT is obviously way different conversationally than Claude, at least in my opinion, but you can train it on how you want it to respond to you. You can give it context about who you are, what your business is, what your offer is, what your sales process looks like, what your funnels look like, right? How you fulfill. And that can just be a great hub to start storing things to, whereas eventually when you want to start delegating things around down the line with your business, you can just reference the frameworks you already have within that GitHub file. And then eventually you can build automated systems off that because Claude already knows what you're doing and Claude already knows the process behind it. Then it's just like, hey, let me plug in some APIs so we can make this fully autonomous and you can use an agentic process to actually execute these tasks. So feeding AI everything is probably the highest leverage thing you can do as an entrepreneur, but a lot of people don't know how to do that, right? Like a lot of people just go into ChatGPT or start a Claude chat, maybe even do a project and just start feeding a bunch of context into it. But the problem with that is it can't actively update and it can't actively store things for you over time, right? And that's what's so huge about GitHub and having a Claude Code CLI and kind of ingrained into that process. That way it can actively update your files. That way it can actively execute on frameworks for you, right? Like you need to have an execution interface, and that's what Claude Code is best for. So if you want to learn how to do that, let me know if you want me to make a deeper video on how this would look at a high level for entrepreneurs specifically. I've kind of beat around the bush a little bit. I've made like content agents, but I haven't made like a full contextual agent, or at least showed a full contextual agent being built to actually run my business, know my frameworks, understand how my business runs, and help me execute at a high level way faster without me having to repeat myself. This is one of the biggest things that you can do as an entrepreneur in this AI age. It makes you that much more effective, especially if you're a solopreneur. And then the next one is like, it's kind of a hot take, but I feel like you cannot get knowledge from AI. Okay, now this is a hot take. Now let me explain this. So my thesis here is that AI is really good at broad information gathering, right? And if you want to be specific with it, it can gather information for you. But if you're trying to learn a thing like sales, AI is not going to be able to help you learn sales. There's certain things that you can learn by just like listening, like hearing, reading, writing, whatever it is. But it's different when you have to execute. There's a lot of things that take real world data. Basically everything in business takes real world data and real world experience to learn from, especially the fundamentals. Okay. And it sounds so stupid when you realize you made that mistake, but AI is not going to steer you away from that. Okay. AI flows wherever you go. So as the human controlling it, you need to be able to understand what your priorities are. Otherwise, it's going to literally just lead you down the wrong path because it's your fault. So if you have no direction, you don't really know what a process looks like from a high level, you need to do the research yourself and you need to actually put that time in and execute and fail. So that way you know what's right and what's not, right? And this is why mentorship will never die. This is why learning from someone who's already done it before will never go. It's like that business model is not getting replaced by AI because AI has never done it before. AI is just like a companion, right? It's just like a helper. It does whatever you say it to do. And if you don't give it the context, you don't give it the insight into actually how to do it properly, because you don't know how to do it properly, it's just going to lead you down the wrong path of generic slop. So you need to understand that AI cannot just do things the right way the first time if you just ask it to. You have to actually have knowledge and experience to know what it needs to do very specifically. And this is why I said mentorship is not going to die, because these guys have went through years of experience in business and they know every little piece of it because they've learned from it throughout all the mistakes, all the wins, all the losses that they went through over the course of their career. Okay. And AI hasn't went through those mistakes. It hasn't went through those losses. So how are you supposed to go to an AI and expect real advice that's actually tactical for your situation and expect it to execute at a high level for you when you don't even know how to execute at a high level? And this is for different skills, different tasks. And this is kind of how I see it at a high level. So make sure you understand, if you need to go learn from somebody on some skill, even YouTube, if you have to, do it. Understand that thing before. Otherwise, you're going to be talking with the AI and having it build a framework or help you execute on this thing. And you're just going to have to realize it's probably not going to be perfect right away. It's probably not going to be what I want it to be right away, because AI needs context and understanding and experience from you. So that way you can actually feed that into making a great output. So that way you don't fail and you know it's a good output every single time. So this is a huge thing to keep in mind. And that's my thesis. I feel like it's very true from my own personal experience with AI. Okay, if you don't have that business knowledge, you don't have that skin in the game, it's going to be really hard to see great results that aren't just mediocre or having something that just fails without having that skin in the game with AI. And then make sure you're picking a workflow and sticking to it. And this is more specific to AI. Okay, pick your tools, pick your tech stack, and just stick to it. Okay, don't overwhelm it. My advice is go on Claude. Claude is the most all-around system that you can use for pretty much any task within your life or business. Pick that workflow and stick to it. Don't start going and jumping ship just because these new shiny objects are coming out. If you stick into the Claude environment right now, I'll tell you right now, you're going to be able to automate basically everything within your business. Liam Otley, the goat of this space, the guy that got me into this space, that started this whole AI agency model, is essentially proving that concept right now. He's using Claude Code to automate 80% of his business, a lot of the tasks that he finds not high leverage that he could just delegate to an AI that otherwise a VA would have to do, right? Or someone that's getting paid a measly $4 an hour, $5 an hour, right? My advice is stick into the Claude environment, get that GitHub set up, go into Claude Code and start interacting with it on a consistent basis instead of using just a simple like ChatGPT and then you're on Gemini and then you're back on Claude and then you're over to Manus and then you're on, Perplexity and then you go to Grok. Like you got to keep something entwined in one system, right? Like what is my main system? What is my main workflow process? Let me make 80% of my AI communication through that system. And then if I need something for a specific tool, right? Like maybe I want Grok to analyze X threads, or maybe I want ChatGPT to just have basic questions and conversations with, then keep it to that side of things, okay? Do not overcomplicate it and have all these different tools you're messing with, all these different subscriptions. Just get in Claude Code and build that repository, build that knowledge base up and use that as your main workflow. It's going to save you so much time and it's going to be the environment where you can actually systemize, automate, and scale your business with AI agents. So those are the data sets. Let's look at tomorrow's agenda. So tomorrow is day 33 of this series. It's Thursday. So what we're going to do in the morning is we're going to just polish up the sales framework just a little bit. I might be able to finish it tonight, but there's a couple things within the framework that I really want to polish. I got to get the ROI tracker kind of dialed in. It's an interactive system that we use on the calls for them. So I got to make that a little more dialed based on numbers and metrics. And then I also need to go into doing a couple mock calls. I already did a couple tonight, kind of just reading through the talk track, making sure that I'm fluent with everything I'm saying. I know how to get the tonality out right with it. And then we're going to have our sales call, which is at 2:30, which I'm very excited for. It's going to be awesome. It's our second AV integrator that we're getting on the phone. And then we're going to get into, after that call, depending on what happens, if he does end up closing, we're going to get into onboarding, getting him all set up, prepping for onboarding, all those things, and then getting into content as well. So moving into that process, what that looks like from a high level. For BCGS specifically, I want to really get into the content style. I think YouTube's going to be a really good play here down the line. Start making some top of funnel. I'm really good at YouTube already. I got the post-production dialed in. It's just really about getting the presentation side of it dialed in. And then we're going to get into some front end things as well, kind of figuring out, okay, what else can I manage on the front end, kind of getting some strategy dialed in. Depending on how this call goes, if he shows up, he's already like confirmed he's showing. So I'm about 90% sure he's going to be there. We'll see if there's anything we need to optimize on the front end or anything else based on our current funnel we're running to see if we can improve what we've already been doing. But other than that, sales call is basically the only priority tomorrow. We're going to see what's going on. And then we got a call with our current client on Friday to get everything kind of launched. My brother's going to be on the back end side of things, dialing in some of the upsells that we said we were going to deliver for him. So that is day 32, guys. That's what our plan is for tomorrow. We're looking to get another client closed. We're going to get ourselves to, if we close this guy for $8K, that's $10,000 cash collected before the end of the month. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Like I said, we're going to play it by ear and see what we can do and just show up confident, ready to close on the call. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to subscribe to follow the series. I post these videos every single day with tactical insights just like this that you can take with you as an entrepreneur early on in your journey or late in your journey if you find value from it. Also, feel free to leave me a comment down below if you have any questions, insight, advice, or just thoughts on this video. I would love to hear it. And if you have any questions that are tactical that you would want answers to, drop them down below. I'll be sure to answer them in the next video. And then also leave a like, man. Support the boy. Leave me a sub. Would love to get you guys into this journey and see me get to $100,000 from the trenches. No one's posting stuff like this from the trenches. And yeah, also DM me on Instagram if you want to connect with me. I got the link in the description. Appreciate you guys for tuning in on this one. We'll see you guys for tomorrow, day 33.